The world is not always just a romantic alpine hut in the middle of the Tyrolean mountains. It is, unfortunately, also full of obstacles, and its paths are often complex. The issue of safety is always with us, and we do our best to protect ourselves from known risks. Most of the time, the sun shines and people go about their lives carefree. However, clouds can form quickly. We have developed tools to overcome obstacles quickly, effectively, and safely. Most of you have probably heard of it. It's called an airplane. An airplane has a fuselage. The fuselage is where you take your seat and your luggage is stowed. There are also windows so you can see mountains, or, depending on your profession, watch obstacles such as financial pressure, growth targets, increased automation, competition, or staff shortages fade away. To be able to fly, you need wings and a tail, but these alone will not get you in the air. Nothing works without large and reliable engines. The design and functionality of the individual components of an aircraft are a metaphor for your organization and its employees. And eventually, someone has to decide where the journey goes. The wings help carry the weight of the aircraft. They must be proportional to the aircraft. If they are too big or too small, the plane won't fly high or fast enough. The wings of your organization are the selection, education, and training of your employees. But the wings alone will not get the plane off the ground. Engines are vital to provide the aircraft with sufficient thrust to move forward. The motivation of employees is the engine that gives your organization the necessary thrust to move ahead. An engine is extremely reliable as long as it's taken care of, and even if there are issues with one engine, there is at least a second one to generate sufficient thrust to keep the plane in the air. In the tanks, there is fuel. There has to be a sufficient amount. It must continuously flow and be of good quality. If the fuel is contaminated, it can clog the pipes. The fuel that runs through every company is communication. Like fuel, communication can freeze, explode, run out, or be unevenly distributed. Fact is, nothing runs without fuel. The rudder is controlled from the flight deck, as is the elevator, which is responsible for making the plane ascend or descend. Together, they are responsible for a smooth and coordinated flight. They control how high you fly, how to fly with the least resistance, and how to compensate for any disturbances. Lack of control or poor coordination can lead to a turbulent flight even without external factors. Turbulent flights are extremely uncomfortable for all of us. It's also important to know of any external threats or obstacles that may lie ahead. For this purpose, the aircraft is equipped with radar, which must be switched on, of course, and whose signals must be detected and interpreted. Good pilots keep their eye on the radar and think far enough ahead to identify hazards in time to avoid them. The landing gear is not visible during cruising altitude, but it is vital for takeoff and landing. The landing gear must be able to withstand pressure and soften a hard landing. Within a company, this vital gear is all of the necessary training for unexpected and complex situations when an organization is exposed to maximum stress. A system designed on safety and efficiency is also prepared for emergencies. The airplane is equipped with appropriate emergency equipment, emergency exits, and slides to evacuate every passenger safely and quickly. We don't want to assume the worst, but we should at least be prepared for it. In the future, new obstacles will always arise on top of existing ones. No matter where you work, whether it's an airline, a nuclear power plant, a hospital room, or a military command center, we must not assume that things will somehow work out. The organization, each individual, and in particular effective teamwork, perform a crucial role. They determine success or failure, not only today, but above all, in the future.